I never thought betrayal could feel like slipping into someone else's skin. Cold, ill-fitting, and reeking of cheap perfume and regret. My sister, Eliza, didn't just steal my passport that humid August night in our cramped Brooklyn walk-up. She ripped open the veins of our shared history, letting the poison of her ambition flood everything I held dear. And in the twisted cosmic joke that followed, I woke up trapped in her body, staring at my own face in the mirror, while she jetted off to Paris in mine, ready to claim the life I'd bled for. It started with a lie so small it could fit in the palm of your hand, a forgotten key under the doormat. But lies from family? They metastasize. I'd covered for Eliza since we were kids. High school shoplifting busts she swore were accidents. The car wreck she walked away from while I took the blame for the DUI because Dad's law firm couldn't afford another scandal. She was the golden child, the one with the modeling gigs and the trust fund whispers from Mom's side. I was Kennedy, the grinder, community college dropout turned paralegal, scraping by on night shifts at a midtown firm while chasing that one shot, a full-ride scholarship to Sciences Po in Paris for international law. The interview was virtual, but they wanted the full show, a live TED-style talk on justice in the shadows at some swanky embassy event. My passport, finally approved after months of red tape, sat on the kitchen counter like a golden ticket. Eliza knew.
God.
She knew. We'd grown up in the shadow of Dad's fall from grace, disbarred for creative accounting, in a Ponzi scheme that left Mom catatonic and us siblings feral. I'd shouldered the guilt, forged the apologies, even testified in juvenile court to keep Eliza's record clean when she got caught funneling Dad's dirty money through fake charities. "You're the strong one, Ken," she'd coo, batting those lashes that got her everything. Strong enough to bury secrets. Strong enough to let her shine. That night, August 15th, the air thick as regret, I came home from a double shift to find the apartment trashed, not burglarized, but rifled through with purpose. Drawers yanked, papers scattered like confetti from a funeral. My passport was gone. Eliza was gone too, her duffel bag missing from the hall closet. A note on the fridge, scrawled in her loopy script, borrowed it. "Sis. Won't be long. Love you.
P.S.
Knock. Am dead in Paris for both of us." My stomach dropped like I'd been gut-punched by the subway. The interview was in 48 hours. Flights were booked.
Visa stamped.
I called her phone straight to voicemail. Texts, crickets. Panic clawed at my throat as I tore through the streets of Williamsburg, pounding on her ex's door, the dive bar she haunted. Nothing. By dawn, I'd reported it stolen to the cops, who shrugged it off as sibling rivalry. The embassy? They couldn't reschedule. Protocols. Darling. My dream, years of pro bono clinics in the Bronx. Essays on systemic bias that bled my soul onto the page, evaporated in a bureaucratic puff. I collapsed on the fire escape. Chain-smoking menthols I swore I'd quit, watching the East River sludge under the rising sun. That's when the headache hit, a migraine like lightning forking through my skull, vision blurring at the edges. I stumbled inside, chugging water from the sink. And that's the last thing I remember before the world inverted. Waking up was wrong. Everything was wrong. The sheets smelled of vanilla body spray, Eliza's scent, not my citrus detergent. My hands, slender, manicured nails painted slut red, weren't mine. I bolted upright, heart hammering, and lurched to the bathroom mirror. Staring back was Eliza, high cheekbones, full lips curled in my horror, those doe eyes wide with my terror. but it was me inside.
Kennedy. Trapped.
I screamed,
A raw.
guttural thing that echoed off the peeling wallpaper. Pounded her fists against the glass until blood trickled from split knuckles. This wasn't a dream. It was a violation deeper than theft.
How? Why?
Fragments surfaced through the fog. That experimental clinic in Chelsea where Eliza had been volunteering for months. Neural mapping trials. Some black-budget psych-op for trauma recovery. Funded by Dad's old cronies in the shadows of Wall Street. She'd bragged about the cash. The mindfulness breakthroughs.
Had she
Swapped us? For the passport? For Paris? Her phone, buzzed on the nightstand. A text from an unknown number. Enjoy the view.
Kennedy.
Consider this payback for all the times you played hero. The talk is mine now. Fly safe.
E.
Payback? For what? The words blurred with rage. I dressed in her clothes, tight jeans that pinched, a crop top that screamed desperation, and stormed out, hailing a cab to JFK.
No.
Not to flee.
To chase.
But the ticket was in my name, her name now, and security eyed me like a ghost when I flashed ID. Eliza, in my body, had already boarded. My passport tucked in my pocket. The flight to Paris was a 7-hour descent into hell. Turbulence mirrored the storm in my gut. I chain-watched the in-flight map, willing the plane to crash, to end this farce. But it didn't. We touched down at Charles de Gaulle under a slate-gray sky, and I navigated the RER into the city like a thief in broad daylight. My French was rusty, but Eliza's wardrobe, silk blouses and Louboutins she'd borrowed from chutes, opened doors. I crashed at a hostel in the Marais, pickpocketing euros from tourists to survive, all while scrolling her socials on a burner app. There she was, my face, beaming from the Ritz's marble lobby. Caption: Chasing dreams in the city of light. Shout out to my sis for the inspo. Paris-bound scholarship SCN, likes poured in, our extended family, her influencer circle, even the scholarship committee reposting. She was nailing it. Brunches at Les Deux Magots. Impromptu networking with diplomats. The talk was tomorrow, 7 p.m. at the American Library in Paris. Streamed live to DC selectors. Justice in the shadows. Ironic, since she'd always danced in mine. Revenge crystallized mid-sip of bitter hostile coffee. Not petty sabotage, no slashed tires or anonymous tips. Something surgical. American dream dark, exposed the rot at our core. Dad's scheme wasn't just greed, it was a cover for something uglier. Years ago, I'd found the files in his study. Offshore accounts laundering bribes from a pharma giant testing unapproved neurodrugs on low-income clinics. Eliza knew. She'd been the courier, the pretty face sealing deals. I'd confessed for her in that hearing, claiming I forged the docs to help Dad. Took the community service rap, the stigma that killed my law school apps. All so she could pivot to philanthropy gigs. The swap, her final con. Using trial tech to ghost into my life. My body. My shot. I needed proof. Her phone had passcodes, but siblings share sins. Late that night, holed up in a cyber cafe near Notre Dame. I cracked it. Birthdays, pet names, the works. Emails to the clinic. Phase 2 swap viable. Target acquired. Compensation wired. Screenshots of Dad's ledgers. Timestamped from her volunteer shifts. And buried deeper, a video. Grainy. Timestamped last week. Me drugged. strapped to a gurney in that Chelsea basement lab, electrodes humming as Eliza, in scrubs, murmured, "Sorry,
Ken.
but you always said family first." Dawn broke over the Seine, gilding the bridges in false gold. I pocketed the phone, hailed an Uber to the embassy district. The talk venue loomed, a Beaux-Arts facade dripping with ivy. Banners fluttering for Future Leaders Forum. Security was lax, name badges for volunteers. And Eliza's face mine was gold. I flashed a forged press pass from her contacts, slipped backstage amid the bustle of caterers and sound techs. There she was, in my skin, pacing a green room mirror. She looked
Right.
taller in my flats, poised in the pantsuit I'd thrift-stored for the occasion. "Nervous?" I said, stepping in, voice a perfect mimic of her Valley Girl lilt. She spun, eyes narrowing my eyes, cold as steel. "Who the hell?" "Oh,
Kennedy."
A smirk twisted my lips on her face. "You followed?"
Cute. But you're me now.
"Go home."
Sis.
"This spotlight's mine." "Home." I laughed, low and jagged. "You stole more than a passport. Eliza. You stole the truth. Dad's bribes. The clinic swaps, it's all here." I waved the phone. One tap, and it's emailed to every journo in this room. Your TED moment becomes a perp walk. My face paled, but she recovered with that viper grace.
Bluff.
"You'd tank us both." "Family, remember? Not anymore." The words tasted like ash, but they burned true. I decided in that cab ride, controversial as hell, but justice isn't polite. Let the world see the shadows we hid, the swapped lives, the buried crimes. Let her fall, even if I tumbled too. The stage manager knocked. 5 minutes. She lunged for the phone. I dodged, slamming into a prop table. Chaos erupted, crashes, shouts as we grappled, 2 bodies in one war. My borrowed nails raked her, my cheek, drawing a thin line of red that beaded like accusation. Security burst in, but not before I hit send. Emails winged out, to NPR, The Times, the embassy list. Attachments, ledgers, video, a manifesto in her voice. "I am Kennedy Hale. And this is the justice we've stolen from the shadows." They dragged us apart, zip ties biting wrists. The talk went on without her, some backup drone platitudes, but the stream exploded. Hashtags trended, body swap scandal Hale sisters justice fail. By intermission, feds were en route from Langley, sniffing black site tech. Locked in a holding room, we faced off across a scarred table. "You ruined everything," she hissed. My features warped in fury. "No," I whispered, flexing fingers that weren't mine. "You did. But here's the hook. I covered for you because I loved you. Now, love's just another lie to bury." Hours blurred into interrogation lights. French gendarmes. Then American suits, diplomats with clipped vowels demanding answers. The swap tech? Experimental DARPA offshoot. Dad's pharma-ties funding, identity resilience for spies. Eliza had hacked it for personal gain. Dosed me during a sisterly wine night. Reversal?
Possible.
But risky neural bleed. Amnesia odds 60%. I chose to stay swapped. Controversial? Hell yes. Let her rot in my body, facing charges in a system I'd once fought to fix. Let me rebuild in hers slimmer chances, but sharper edges. The scholarship? Revoked. But offers flooded. Podcasts. Books. A MacArthur Whisper for whistleblower courage. Paris spat me out. But America embraced the monster I'd become. Or so I thought. The reversal procedure was scheduled for sterile or in Bethesda, under NDAs thicker than fog. Eliza, shackled in my old jeans, begged through the glass partition. Ken,
Please.
it's me. I was scared. Dad's ghosts. The money drying up. I needed out. Lies. All of it. But her eyes, my eyes, glistened with something raw.
Pity?
Or the first crack in her armor. I turned away, signing the consents with her manicured hand. The anesthesiologist's mask loomed, gas hissing like a serpent's promise. Count backward from 10, he drawled in that Midwestern flatness.
10. 9.
The room spun into void. Waking was agony inverted, fire in my veins, echoes of two lives clashing like cymbals. Monitors beeped frantic Morse. A nurse harried. Queen's accent muttered, "She's stable." But the scans. Anomalies. I flexed toes, mine calloused from pounding pavement, and felt the world slot back.
Kennedy. Whole.
Eliza was gone. Extradited to Rikers pending trial. The headlines crowned me. Body swapped scholar foils family fraud. Talk shows booked solid. Colbert wanted the sister from hell. Roast. 60 Minutes probed the ethics of neural theft. I played the hero, poised in cable-knit sweaters, quoting Baldwin on inherited sins. My voice steady as the Brooklyn Bridge. Inside, a hollow ache, like chewing foil. Revenge isn't a clean kill, it's gangrene. I moved back to the walk-up, reclaimed my passport, now a museum piece in a safety deposit box. The scholarship pivoted, a deferred spot at Columbia Law, funded by a GoFundMe that shamed donors into generosity. Rise from the ashes, they tweeted. Easy for strangers to say. But ashes cling. Late nights. I'd trace the faint scar on my cheek from our scuffle, hers now. I hoped. A permanent post-it of betrayal. Dreams bled. Paris boulevards morphing to Chelsea labs. Eliza's laugh echoing in my skull. Was the swap fully undone? Or had she left fingerprints on my soul? Fall semester hit like a freight train. Ivy halls hummed with privilege I now navigated awkwardly, first-gen imposter syndrome on steroids. Professors name-dropped my courage. Classmates dissected the scandal over kale salads in Butler Library. So, did it feel trippy? Being her, a poli-sci major probed, eyes hungry for Ted-worthy trauma porn. I'd smile. Deflect, more like waking from a bad acid trip in someone else's funhouse. Laughter rippled, but it curdled in my throat. Funhouse? Try House of Horrors, where mirrors lied and floors dropped to chasms of what-ifs. One what-if stalked me, the hidden drive on Eliza's old phone. Decrypted post-swap by a hacker buddy from the firm. Not just ledgers, letters. Dad, to Eliza. Pre-collapse. Protect Kennedy. She's the clean one. If it comes down, you take the heat. Blood debt. Blood debt. I'd borne the heat. Not her. Or had I? Doubt festered. I dove into case files at the NYPL. Microfiche ghosts of Dad's trial. Buried footnotes. An anonymous tip that tanked him. Not a rival. But JH. Juvenile informant. Eliza's initials? No. But close. A redacted psych eval mentioned, sibling coercion. My pulse thrummed. Had she flipped first? Set me up as the patsy to shield herself? Classmates faded. I ghosted parties for dive bars in Hell's Kitchen. Nursing IPAs with ex-cons who swapped war stories. Revenge is a bitch that bites back, one grizzled vet grunted. Tattooed knuckles wrapping his glass. You think you win, but the mirror don't lie.
He was right.
Eliza's trial loomed, federal court. Manhattan. Judge Harlan presiding. A hawk on white-collar wolves. I was star witness. Subpoenaed to detail the swap. The cover-ups. Prep sessions with the AUSA dragged. A no-nonsense redhead named Vasquez. Chain-smoking outside the courthouse. She's pleading diminished capacity, claims you gaslit her into it. Make her the victim. Victim? The word soured like weak old milk. She dosed me. Vasquez. Strap me down like a lab rat. Prove motive. She tapped photos. Eliza's volunteer logs. Timestamps aligning with Dad's payoffs. Pharma wanted test subjects off books. Your sister was the broker. You? Collateral. Trial week. The city choked on a heat wave. Asphalt shimmering like bad intentions. I testified in a pencil skirt that itched. Voice cracking only once, recounting the gurney. The hum. Jurors leaned in. Faces a jury of my peers. Tired eyes. Hidden hurts. Eliza, in orange jumpsuit hugging my old frame, stared daggers. No remorse. Just calculation. Cross-exam was a slaughter. Her lawyer, a silver fox from Dad's old firm, painted me as the enabler. MS. Hail. Isn't it true you forged documents for your father? Assumed blame for your sister's infractions? A pattern of self-sacrifice bordering on obsession. Objection sustained, but the seed planted. Whispers in the gallery. Classic codependent twins. Twins? We weren't. 2 years apart. Worlds. But blood binds tighter than DNA. Verdict day. Rain lashed the windows like judgment. Guilty on all counts. Fraud. Assault. Conspiracy. 20 years. Minimum. She didn't flinch. Just mouthed. This isn't over, as they led her away. I exhaled in the hall. Vasquez clapping my shoulder. You did it.
Kid.
Justice served. Served? It tasted like cold cuts, stale. Unsatisfying. That night, alone with takeout lo mein, I cracked the letters again. Dad's scrawl, Eliza, Kennedy's innocent. I made her lie for me. If exposed, say she knew nothing. Protect her light. Her light. Not mine. The room tilted. What if I'd been the mark all along? Eliza's payback, not ambition. But deflection? Planting the swap to frame me as the vengeful one, while she played innocent.
No.
Paranoia. Post-trauma rot. I deleted the files. Poured a scotch, Dad's brand, hidden in the cabinet and toasted the mirror. To endings. But endings in America? They're just commercial breaks. Winter gripped the city. Christmas lights mocking the chill in my bones. Columbia buzzed with midterms. I buried in torts and con law, dissecting hypotheticals that paled to my reality. A new routine, yoga in Morningside Park at dawn, forcing breath into lungs that still wheezed foreign air. Dates? Flops? A barista with tattoos who ghosted after I dodged body swap deep dives, a lawyer bro who called it edgy Ted bait. Then, the package arrived. No return address. Postmarked from upstate. Inside. A flash drive and a note in Eliza's hand. Watch before you judge.
Love. E.
Love. The words slithered like smoke. I plugged it in, screen flickering to life. Not a confession, a home movie. Time-stamped our childhood brownstone. Pre-scandal. Grainy VHS transfer. Dad. Haggard in his study. 8-year-old me perched on his knee. Kennedy. Baby. This firm's dirty. But it's our ticket out for you and Liza. Promise you'll keep secrets?
Kid me nods.
Solemn. Cut to 10-year-old Eliza. Eavesdropping. Tears streaming.
Daddy.
Why her? I'm the smart one. Not smart. Pumpkin clean. Kennedy's got the heart. She'll carry it without breaking. The video stuttered on. Montages of me forging his signatures on homework. Eliza watching from shadows. Jealousy hardening her gaze. Then, the wreck, me. 16. Breathalyzer at .08. Spiked soda, she'd handed me. Cops cuffing while she sobbed innocent in the passenger seat. I did it for us, Dad whispers off camera. She took the fall so you could shine. Fall after fall. Engineered. I'd been the vessel, not the villain. Eliza's swap? Desperation's last gasp. Stealing my body to steal my absolution. Impersonate the saint. Let me mar her sins in the spotlight. Tears hot on my cheeks. I hurled the drive. Not rage, grief. Vast as the Atlantic. She'd hated me for being the better lie. And I'd hated her for making it true. Spring thaw brought green shoots in the park. Tentative as hope. I withdrew the appeal, let her rot in my skin. A penance, poetic. My own path forked. Deferred Paris for a clerkship in D.C. Prosecuting the pharma web. Vasquez pulled strings. We dismantle it thread by thread. But the twist lingered. A hook in my gut. One evening, scrolling X in a Georgetown dive. A verified account pinged at a Liza Hale official. Verified? Bail hearing leaked. Pro bono from a sympathy fund. Post. From shadows to light. Grateful for second chances. Redemption arc. Comments erupted. Free her. Body swap hoax. Kennedy the real con. Conspiracy nuts frothed. Feminists rallied for sister solidarity. My notifications? Death threats. Doxes, America's Coliseum. Feeding on fractured truths. I blocked. Breathed. Revenge's end? Not a bow, but a boomerang. I'd spoken on that Paris stage in spirit, exposed, unbowed. But whose truth won? Hers? In the echo chamber? Or mine? In the quiet grind? The call came at midnight. Vasquez. Voice tight. She's out. Technicality. Evidence chain broken. Your testimony? They spun it as coached.
Out. Free.
In my body. My city. Rewriting the script. I hung up. Stared at the ceiling cracks like fate's palm lines. Time for round 2. Not fists, words. A book deal waited. I'd title it Swapped Lies, A Sister's Shadow. Let the world debate, villain or victim, saint or scapegoat, as sirens wailed below. I smiled, sharp, unyielding. Paris was just the overture. The real drama? Back home, where blood runs thicker than ink, and revenge wears your face. Summer sweltered D.C. into a pressure cooker, humidity clinging like unspoken accusations. I clerked for Judge Ramirez in the federal courthouse, a brutalist fortress where justice ground slow as glacial ice. Mornings blurred into depositions on the pharma case, endless suits testifying to ethical lapses, code for human lab rats in underserved zip codes. Afternoons. I'd draft opinions, my prose clipped and fierce. Channeling the rage Eliza's release had reignited. She was out there, a ghost in my skin. Social media autopsy at Eliza Hill official ballooned to 50K followers overnight. Pivoting to trauma influencer. Posts dripped sanctimony. Yoga poses at dawn in Prospect Park. Captions like healing from the swap. What if forgiveness is the real revenge? Body autonomy's sister stories. Comments? A cult forming. Podcasts inviting her as the survivor's voice. Merch drops of swapped but not broken tees. She'd lawyered up with Dad's alumni network, spinning the trial as prosecutorial overreach, and me as the bitter architect. I itched to clap back, but Vasquez warned, slap suits waiting.
Stay analog. Hail.
Write the book, not the tweet. So I did. Nights in my efficiency above DuPont Circle. Laptop glowing like a confessional. Chapters poured. The swap's vertigo. The courtroom theater. The childhood calculus where I tallied sins for her salvation. Title locked. Echoes in the wrong skin. Agent buzzed. Six-figure advance. Netflix sniffing adaptation rights. But ghosts don't ghost easy. A week in, my mail slot rattled with an unmarked envelope, Paris postmark. Inside, a single ticket stub from the American Library talk. Annotated in my hand, you should have been here. But I made it shine. Miss you. Miss me? Or mock me? I burned it in the sink. Flames dancing like deranged fireflies. Acrid smoke curling up my resolve. Enough. I needed eyes on her. A PI from the firm, ex-NYPD named Kowalski, tailed for a retainer that drained my savings. Reports trickled. Eliza bunkered in a Williamsburg loft. Ours. Sublet under my name. Giggling on TikToks with mental health coaches, dodging process servers for the civil suit I'd filed to reclaim assets. Then, the anomaly, late-night meets at that Chelsea clinic. Now shuttered, but humming with private security. Kowalski's grainy pics, her slipping envelopes to a lab tech. The same scrubs from the video. Resuming trials? Or reversing her own swap, trading back to escape the spotlight's glare? Paranoia peaked during a deposition. My voice cracking as I grilled a exec on consent forms. Ramirez pulled me aside post-session. You're sharp, Kennedy, but haunted. This case, it's personal. Step back. Can't.
Judge.
It's the vein to the heart. He nodded. Eyes kind behind wire rims. Then armor up. America's got no mercy for the vengeful saint.
Saint.
The word echoed Dad's letters. A noose of irony. I doubled down, joined a support group for identity theft survivors. Ironic circle jerks in church basements where folks swap stories of hacked accounts and stolen SSNs. Mine landed like sci-fi fanfic, and then I woke up. Her.
Nods.
Awkward silences. A barista named Mia, who lingered post-meet, her hand on mine. Sounds like hell. Coffee? My treat. Mia became anchor, freckles and folk playlists. A graphic designer untangling my knots with quiet questions. No probes on the swap, just presence, like sunlight through blinds. We walked the mall at dusk. Cherry blossoms shedding like confetti regrets. Revenge, she said one night over falafel in Adams Morgan. It's like quicksand. The more you thrash, the deeper. Thrashing's all I know, I admitted. Falafel crumbling in my fist. Learn to float. Her kiss tasted like hummus and possibility soft. Uncalculated. First real tether since the swap. But tether snap. Mid-July, Kowalski called. She's bolting. Booked a red-eye to Paris. One way.
Paris.
Again. The hook twisted. I cashed vacation days. Boarded the red-eye, coach this time. No first-class illusions. De Gaulle spat me into drizzle. I Ubers to the Marais. Checking hotels from her Insta-clues. Bingo, Hotel de la Bretonnerie. A boutique haunt with exposed beams and hipster hauntings. I staked out from a cafe across the rue. Espresso bitter as bile. Day 1. Her emerging in sundress, my sundress. Thrift find from Canal Street, chatting up a street artist. Day 2. Embassy schmoozes. Flashing that smile that once got her out of jaywalking tickets. Day 3. The clinic meet. Not Chelsea's ghost, but a Sorbonne annex. Whispers of Neural Ethics Symposium.
Symposium? Cover.
I tailed to a bistro off Rue de Rivoli, eavesdropping over a croque-monsieur. Her lunch date, a silver-haired prof. Accent Oxbridge crisp. The reversal protocol, viable for civilians now? DARPA's loosening patents. He chuckled. Wine sloshing. For the right price. Yes.
Hail.
But ethics board sniffing.
Your.
History complicates.
History. Mine.
Now hers. She leaned in. Voice velvet. Consider it redemption research. My sister's book drops soon, Expose City. I need the truth out first. Truth? My blood iced. She was writing her version, counter-narrative.
Victimely.
Floated the swap as mutual. Me the jealous puppeteer dosing her for sisterly bonding. Plausible deniability. American as apple pie a la mode. I slipped out. Heart-pounding cobblestones. Straight to a tobacco for Gauloise, vice tourism.
Dialed Kowalski. Day deeper.
Who's funding her jaunt? Ghost Corp, shell out of Luxembourg. Traces to pharma remnants. And hail, your old man's popping up in visitor logs at Rikers.
Dad.
The triad complete. Floating, or scheming a family reunion in flesh. That night. Jet-lagged in a flea bag near Bastille. Mia's text lit my screen. Miss your chaos. Book outline shared. Brutal beauty. Come home soon. Home. The word wobbled. I typed back. Chasing shadows. Love the outline. Be safe.
Love.
Sloppy. But true. I crashed hard. Dreams a carousel. Paris lights blurring to Brooklyn stoops. Eliza's laugh morphing to Dad's cough. Dawn yanked me vertical. Plan coalesced. Confront. Record. Release. No violence, cameras now. The new Coliseum. I dressed sharp, borrowed blazer from Hostel Dry Clean, and crashed the symposium at the Sorbonne's amphitheater. Badge swiped from a distracted intern. Crowd milled. Academics in tweed. Journos with recorders. Eliza keynote. Neural frontiers. Identity in the age of swaps. Poised at the podium. My face earnest. She spun silk from straw. My sister and I, bound by blood. Unbound by choice. The swap wasn't theft. It was a mirror, forcing us to wear the other scars. Scars. Audience cooed. I seethed in the back row. Phone live streaming to a private link, Vasquez.
Mia.
The world if needed. Q&A. Her fielding barbs on consent. Dodging with personal growth platitudes. Then. A plant?
No, me.
Mic in hand. Voice steady. MS. Hail, or should I say, Kennedy. Define mirror. Does it reflect the bribes you brokered? The dosings you directed? Or just the lies you tell to sleep at night? Gasps rippled. Her eyes locked shock. then steal. Kennedy, this is unscripted. Laughter. Nervous. The mirror shows forgiveness.
Sis.
Join me up here. Trap sprung. I ascended. Stage lights hot as interrogation. Whispers. The real one? Phones up. Streaming viral. Close now. Her perfume, my old Chanel knockoff, wafting betrayal. Forgiveness. I murmured. Mic hot. Like spiking my wine? Or framing me as the fall guy since we were kids? Murmurs swelled. She smiled. Teeth bared. Twist of fate.
Ken.
But Dad, he told me everything. You knew the ledgers. You chose the lies. Chose? The amphitheater spun. Video queued on my phone. Projected illicit via Bluetooth hack. Kowalski's gift the VHS clip. Kid me on Dad's knee. Her face crumbled. My face.
Raw. That's.
Edited.
No.
Truth. I hit play on the letters. Dad's voiceover. Gravelly. Eliza. Kennedy's the shield. Let her take it. The chaos. Shouts. Security converging. She lunged, not for me, but the projector, smashing it in a clatter of plastic and sparks.
Lies.
All lies. We grappled again. Echoes of Paris, round one. Arms locked. Breaths mingling twin fury. A flash. Her whisper. Hot in my ear. You win this round. But the book's coming. My truth. Security peeled us. Gendarmes cuffing amid flashes. Symposium dissolved into scandal scrum. Body swap showdown. Trended globally. Back in holding, déjà vu with French subtitles, I waited. No Vasquez, just a consulate drone promising extradition. Eliza, in adjacent cell, sobbed. Dad made me. He said you'd never break. Break? I'd forged in fire. He made us both. Liza. But I chose light. Release came at dusk. Rain sheeting the Seine. Mia's flight landed at Orly. I met her at arrivals. Bouquet wilting in the downpour. Your stream went nuclear, she said, hugging fierce. You're everywhere. Everywhere. But home? With her? Maybe. Eliza's book dropped first, Mirrored Sins, A Survivor's Reckoning. Ghostwritten tripe hitting NYT list on sympathy fumes. Mine followed, raw, ragged, climbing slow on word-of-mouth grit. Debates raged, forums pitting vindictive Kennedy versus fragile Eliza. Protests at bookstores. Cancel campaigns crossfire. Twists reversal? In the epilogue scan, Riker's tapes, Dad confessing to Vasquez off record. I swapped them young. Eliza the schemer. Kennedy the heart. But the girl in orange? That's my Kennedy. Eliza's tech, she put her there to protect her from me. Protect? The world flipped. Eliza hadn't stolen my body, she'd hidden me in hers. Taking the fall in my skin to shield me from Dad's final play, a suicide pact to frame the innocent one.
Bi kịch có hậu.
You decide. Me? I float now. Mia's hand in mine. Paris a scar that stories. Revenge? Just the shadow before dawn. Autumn leaves carpeted DC like spent casings from a truth war. Eliza's book tour hit fever pitch. Oprah nod. Packed houses where fans clutched mirrored sins like talismans, weeping to her tales of sibling sabotage. Mine? Steady seller in indie circuits. Dog-eared by law students and true crime junkies. Sparking salon debates in Brooklyn lofts. Was Kennedy the architect or the anvil? The reversal tape leaked, anonymous drop to WikiLeaks. Time-stamped pre-trial. Dad's gravel confession looped on CNN. Eliza swapped Kennedy to save her. Girl in my skin, my blood, air. Scheming to end it all with me. Kennedy's the light. Keep her buried safe.
Light. Buried.
The internet imploded. Hail twists trended. Subreddits dissected every frame. Eliza's camp spun damage control, coerced confession, elder abuse, but cracks showed, tour dates cancelled, followers dipping as doubt seeded.
Mine?
Sales spiked. Netflix greenlit the series, with Lupita eyeing the dual role. I watched from afar, clerkship winding down, Mia and I nesting in a Shaw row house, exposed brick, her sketches on walls, my manuscript stacked like fortifications. Nights. We dissect the fallout over Pinot. Think she'll fold? Mia'd ask. Feed in my lap. Fold? Eliza? She'd rather burn the board. But doubt nod. Kowalski's final bill included a warning. She's dark web shopping untraceables. And your pop? Parole hearing next month.
Dad.
The patriarch Phoenix. Rising from ashes he'd lit. I visited Rikers one last time. Fluorescent hum a dirge. He looked frail in the jumpsuit, 60 going on ancient. Eyes milky with cataracts. Kenny girl, he wheezed, gripping the partition. The tape, truth serum slip. Eliza. She thought you weak for the spotlight. Swap to toughen you. Hide you from my mess. Weak. I laughed. Brittle. You built the cage.
Dad.
I just rattled the bars. He leaned close. Breath fogging plexi. Rails.
Kid.
Blood debts paid. Walk away.
Walk.
America's gospel. Manifest destiny of grudges. But Mia's voice echoed float. I stood, leaving him with silence heavier than chains. Parole granted, technicality. Again. Dad surfaced in a Jersey halfway house, penning op-eds for the Post, from fraud to fatherhood, lessons in legacy. Eliza co-signed. Duo interviews gushing, family reconciliation. Public aided, redemption porn. Yankee Doodle forgiveness.
Me?
I demurred. Book tour skipped the family reunion circuit. Focusing flyover states where folks nodded at my keep grinding mantra. Backstage in Omaha. Post-reading. A fan pressed. You forgiving them? For the brand? Brand. I snorted. Signing her copy. This ain't widgets. Hun. Forgiveness is private, asphyxiation or air. Your call. Private it stayed. Until the gala, Columbia's annual. Black tie schmooze in low library. Marble halls echoing champagne flutes. Invite came gilded, alumni honor for resilience icon.
Mia in emerald silk.
Arm loop mine. We ascended steps like conquering kin. Inside, jazz trio. Donors in tuxes preening. Then, the tableau, Dad at the bar. Bowtie askew. Eliza on his arm. My frame filled out with Pilates poise. Gown hugging curves I'd starved for. She spotted me first. Smile fracturing porcelain. Kennedy. The prodigal. Prodigal? I was the stay put. They the wanderers. Dad raised a glass. To daughters, swapped or not. Mia tensed. I waved her to the hors d'oeuvres. Daughters who bury dad's bodies, I said low. Tape was kind.
Pop.
No mention of the suicides you staged, framing rivals to climb. His jowls quivered. Business.
Kenny.
You swam in it too. Eliza stepped in, perfume cloying. We can end this. Joint forward. Hail sisters unite. Oprah's people called.
Unite?
The word curdled. Or what? Another swap? Dose the punch bowl. Her eyes, my eyes flashed. You think you're free? That book's your cage. World's watching the villain now.
Villain.
The twists echo. I leaned in. Voice steel wool. Watch closer. I'm the one who walks. Security loomed. Whispers had drawn eyes. I pivoted. Mia materializing with moxie. Trouble, she murmured. Family tradition. We glided away. But not before Eliza's parting shot. Hissed. You'll beg for the mirror back. Mirror. The hook's final barb. Winter solstice brought snow to DC. Blanketing sin soft. Netflix filming wrapped. Lupita nailed the dual rage. Raw as fresh cuts. Dad's op-eds dried up. Rumors of a relapse in Jersey. Bottle calling him home. Eliza? Went dark. Account archived. Sightings sparse. Kowalski tailed a lead. Her hold in a Catskills cabin. Scribbling sequel sins. I let it lie. Revenge's arc? Not vengeance. But velocity propelling past. Not pinning down. Mia and I road-tripped Route 66 come spring. Chasing horizons where blood thinned to rivulets.
Stop, dîner whisky à la mode.
Motels with neon prayers. This the end, she'd tease. Head on my shoulder in some Arizona dusk. Endings are American myths, I'd quip. Where just the credits roll. Back east. The mail brought closure, or its ghost. Package, no mark, but familiar scrawl. Inside, Eliza's manuscript draft, unswapped truths, pages dog-eared. Underlined furious. Opening note. Read it.
Ken.
Then burn. Or publish. Your move. The other one. I read by firelight. Mia dozing beside. Her words, mirror to mine, but inverted. Dad's confessions twisted, me the knowing accomplice. Her the duped doll. Swaps as metaphor, not machine, forgiveness as plot device. Ending?
Us.
Reconciled on a porch swing. Swapping stories sans scars. Fiction. But potent. I fed it page by page to the flames, watching lies curl to ash. Not destruction, catharsis. Smoke signals to whatever gods peddle justice. Year spool, law practice in the Bronx. Pro bono trenches where shadows live. Mia's gallery shows. Our rings simple gold. Eliza surfaces sporadic therapy TikToks. A memoir that flops soft. Dad? Fades quiet. Jersey grave unmarked. The debate lingers in fan mail. Reddit threads. Who wore the skin best? Who bore the sins truest? Happy? Tragic? Or the American gray, grit-glazed? Gunmetal hope.
Me?
I speak stages now, not Paris pomp, but community halls. Voices raw with real reckonings. Justice, I tell them, ain't a swap or a score. It's the mirror you face at dawn, and choosing to look anyway. And in that look, not her.
Me. Kinidihale, siep.
Scarred, but standing. Unbowed in the light we all chase. Even when it blinds.